What's going on, everyone? Matic here, and today we're going to go over a few factors that'll help prevent you from having an injury just like this. Ugh. So, that's a knee injury that basically went sideways. Not cool. Really not great. So what kind of contributed to this accident and stuff like this? Well, besides general training to help condition your body to handle these types of forces that will prevent this injury, there's a couple other things that wind up happening, right? So the first thing we're kind of going to look at is her foot placement versus the direction her body is going when she executes this particular technique, which is a low kick. So if you'll see, she is moving straight forward, but as she is moving straight forward, she winds up doing a cross step kick. She plants her base foot completely sideways as she is still going forward. And thus, when she goes to throw her kick, because her energy is still going forward instead of settling over her base leg, her knee gives out because it doesn't like going sideways. Who'da thunk? So because of that, because she has energy going forward past her base, she winds up injuring herself. She falls, and then that's that. So one of the things that could have helped prevented this, along with other things that we'll go over, is when she planted her foot, even though it was sideways, when she went to throw her kick, even if she doesn't turn her body sideways, like how typically you should do a round kick, you should still twist your base foot more. You should still be turning it out. What this winds up doing, and what you should be concentrating in your general training, is you don't want to have a straight base leg. You want it to still have a bend. So if it had still had a bend, with it slightly turned out more, she would have had a little bit more wiggle room, a little bit, to kind of let herself, you can let it straighten out to take some of that stress off your knee. So when you are practicing kicks, by and large, especially ones that make you turn sideways, focus on twisting your base foot past 90 degrees. Don't go completely backwards, don't be fucking retarded, but turn it past 90. So second thing that contributed to this is, if you will watch, you will see that her opponent is not standing still at the very beginning of the video, not when she decides to move. In the beginning of the video, her opponent is already backing up. So she should have an idea of which way she's already planning to go. But she really doesn't account for that, because if you'll take a look, when she throws her round kick, and I'll slow this down, when she throws her round kick, she is kicking about where her opponent's leg should have been at that time, instead of anticipating my opponent's going to go backwards when I come forward. In that case, is that even though that she does wind up taking an overstep with her cross step, she should have actually gone forward here and then just stepped forward, because your opponent is leaving you. And unless you are able to do a cross step slip round kick, which winds up losing quite a bit of power, so it would have been useless to have done that. Her best option would to have been, and this contributes to another factor, is see that she's leaving, abandon the round kick, and then just keep applying pressure and do other techniques and stuff like that. So because she was not paying attention to what her opponent is doing, she just went, this is the thing I'm going to do, no matter what. She was not able to adjust her strategy in real time. And this is something that takes a whole lot of ring time and a whole lot of, you can't really practice it. You just have to spar and drill over and over to see when your opponent does things that's not according to plan, and then you change your plan. So factor number two, she was not paying attention to her opponent. She was not able to figure out that if I press forward on an opponent that is already backing away, then my opponent is going to back away. There are certain strategies for counter fighters and stuff like that, to where they will go back to try to make their opponent overcommit, and then they'll capitalize when the person comes in, because the distance changes, all that stuff, right? But I'm assuming earlier in the fight, this has been the same thing her opponent has been doing, so she kind of figured that out, and this is the result. So third and last factor that I kind of mentioned a little bit in the second one is that she overcommitted, or she was already fully committed to her plan of throwing a cross step low kick, or at least just a low kick in general, right? So when she goes to kick, she takes her step forward, her momentum's still going this way, even if she had been outside of her base, right? So her plan is to do a cross step low kick, boom, in order to try to get a hit. Now, what I just did versus what she did is one is when I throw kicks, right? And this is an entirely other thing, different video, different time, and different time and place depending on situation. Don't make it a standard of training. But when I practice my general kicks, general training, basic training, I put a lot of emphasis on what my knee is doing because I use my knee as a like type of sights or scope or whatever. If my knee is pointing in that direction and then I straighten my leg, my foot should go there. So when she throws her leg, and a lot of people do this, especially in like kickboxing and Muay Thai stuff like that, they don't necessarily really point their knee or they don't make it a big emphasis. Some people do, some don't. But if you watch her leg comes up in this slightly bent position, right? And she's focusing on where her foot goes. By putting her emphasis on where her foot goes, it carries energy forward and it can easily get you out of position because it's very easy to overcommit like that. But if I put my emphasis or my mind and my attention on my knee, I can throw that same kick, and even if I miss, boom, I don't overcommit. But what it also does, even if I kind of pick it up, not completely tucked, even slightly, I can see someone change, move away, and because my mind is in my knee and I understand when I'm supposed to kick, I'm able to keep my energy back here until I decide to actually kick. But because she is already fully committed to throwing that and finishing that technique, it just winds up, again, pulling her off her base, which puts pressure on her knee and results in torn tendons and ligaments. Not cool. So again, like kind of the three factors that resulted in this particular accident is one, not fully rotating her base leg, even if she's not going to fully commit to turning sideways for a round kick. Again, you don't have to fully turn, but do turn your base leg, because that helps get you power into your leg. Turning this puts power into your kick. Number two, reading your opponent, realizing things that they are doing. This is one of the hardest ones actually, because it just requires ring time and seeing how different people behave with different strategies in different situations. Some people use it as a counter-fighting tactic. Some people just do it because they have no idea what else to do besides just continually back away and circle to try to evaluate what you do or to prevent you from hitting. Especially if winning matches has a point scoring thing attached to it that I think combat karate does, or similar things, right? Landing particular hits get you points and you can win matches that way. So it is a strategy of get enough points and then just stay away to not get hit, and you can win rounds and stuff like that. I don't like that method of fighting. I just never have. And the third one is overcommitting in your attacks, not because of the second reason, because you like misread your opponent, but overcommitting because the way that you generally practice your kicks is incorrect. When you're practicing kicks, you should be thinking of one, pulling high up on your hip flexors, which will then lift your knee. Your knee needs to point in the direction of where your foot wants to go, and then you don't unleash the kick until you rotate your hips and rotate your base foot. If you don't throw your kick until those two things happen, then you give yourself better options. You can actually make more trickier kicks. You can mess up people's timings while still having power within your kicks when you actually finally decide to rotate everything. So I hope y'all got all that. Please take into consideration what your training and stuff does that properly prepares you to handle the forces when it comes to throwing techniques. Don't break yourself because you're dumb. And with that, I'm Matic, and I'll catch y'all later.